presidential pardon power is one of those peculiarities of the US political system that everybody's heard about, but few people have given much thought. At least, not until President Donald Trump started tweeting about using it, possibly even to pardon himself. As you might say, pardon me? Most people only ever hear about the pardon power on US Thanksgiving, when the president symbolically pardons a lucky turkey, or at the end of the president's term of office, when it's traditional to pardon a list of prisoners, often ones who have donated to the president's political party. Barack Obama used the pardon power to free almost 2,000 Americans who had been imprisoned for minor drug offenses. Richard Nixon was pardoned for his Watergate crimes by his successor, Gerald Ford. Jimmy Carter pardoned more than 200,000 Vietnam draft dodgers. But Donald Trump is another matter. When he talks about the pardon power, it's pretty clear he's talking about people in his own office. He says there haven't been any pardon-worthy crimes exposed, at least he says so far. The president's pardon power is pretty, well, powerful. Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution says the president shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. The president can issue a pardon to anyone who's committed a federal crime, even if that crime has not yet resulted in criminal charges or has not been tried in court. It's an absolute power. It cannot be overturned by the courts or by Congress. Can the president pardon himself, though? Nobody really knows. It's never been tried. The Constitution doesn't specifically forbid a self-pardon, although some legal scholars note that the phrase in the Constitution, "to grant," suggests that it's meant for others. And a self-pardon would collide with a fundamental legal principle, one usually expressed in the Latin phrase, nemo judex in causa sua. Nobody should be a judge in their own case. So if the president did stand in front of TV cameras and say, "Pardon me," the Supreme Court might challenge it. And that's not the only problem he'd face. First of all, a self-pardon is, by definition, a confession. Even President Trump seems to be aware that if he pardons anyone in his administration, he's acknowledging that a crime has been committed. Second, the pardon power doesn't extend to impeachment. Impeachment isn't a legal process, it's a political process. And while the odds of an impeachment being launched against Donald Trump are very low with this Congress, those odds would increase considerably if he were to start issuing pardons against his colleagues or against himself.